Luis Ariz, we see this guy right now with the Padres. I played with him in 2019 with the Twins. He's a little bit different. He doesn't hit the ball out of the ballpark. He doubles down on his bat-to-ball skills, his contact ability. What he lacks in power numbers, he makes up for on base with average, right? He might not even walk a lot, dude, but his bat-to-ball skills are superior. And in a world of power hitters, he's a throwback contact guy who stayed at the top by being elite at something that most ignore. That's what it's about. You can stand out by being different if you double down on that stuff. Have you ever thought about what it actually takes to play baseball at the next level? At the next level, everybody's good. Everybody's talented. Everybody throws hard. Everybody hits tanks. So what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't? In this episode, I'm going to dive into just that, give you examples of MLB players standing out by being different, and then end with 5 ways that you can stand out when everyone around you is talented. Appreciate you tuning in. So we know baseball's hard. We know that stats matter. We know that talent matters. Talent gives you a head start in the race, but our baseball careers are a marathon. And so talent just gets us in the door. Talent just gets us a head start. We also know that being in the right place at the right time and getting lucky also matters. And that is all stuff that is outside of our control. Baseball's hard enough, fellas. So the more that we worry about things that are outside of our control, the more that we're going to stress ourselves out, the more that we are going to just add immense and insane pressure on ourselves, and the more that we're going to struggle, the more that we're going to slump, the more that we are going to struggle to get out of it, okay? When we talk about separating ourselves from everybody else, especially when everybody else is good and making it to the next level and maximizing our careers, we need to lock in and focus on the things that are within our control, okay? What are the things that's within our control and the things that we can own? Effort, attitude, thoughts. We can control all that stuff. In my race, in my marathon, okay, from little league to the big leagues in the 9-hole, being a college walk-on, I had to do everything within my power to own my game. I had to own my effort. I had to show up when others didn't want to be there. I had to be willing to do things others weren't willing to do. I had to have a good attitude all the time. I needed to have positive thoughts. I needed to be aiming for something on purpose, with purpose. And that's the stuff that separated me from everybody else when everybody else had a scholarship, got money in the draft, got way more opportunity, came from a better baseball background, better baseball family. Like it is what it is, man. If we are consistent and we're able to do the things that nobody else is able to do or is willing to do, we are able to get the results nobody else is going to be capable of getting. That's what I was able to do in my career. That's what you're going to be able to do in your career. We need to focus on the stuff that is within our control. If it's outside of our grasp and we can't immediately influence it, then what good is it for us to stress about it and worry about it and think about it? We can be consistent. We can do the things nobody else is willing to do, man. We can be all in. We can have a good effort. We can have a good attitude. We can think good thoughts, man. These are all things that we can do and we can own. And over time, it'll separate us from everybody else. The harsh truth in baseball, a lot of guys, especially younger, don't understand this, but talent gets you in the door and that's it. In this game of baseball, you need to earn and take everything that you want. Nothing's going to be given to you. And just because you are talented or you're taller or you're bigger or you're stronger, or you throw a little bit more fuzz than everybody else, yeah, dude, it'll get you in the door. But it's not going to get you a career, okay? Talent gets you in the door and that's it. Sip of water, please. I've spoken on the show before about guys in pro ball, the first rounder and second rounder in my draft class, 2013 Seattle Mariners. They both didn't make it to the big leagues. They both got millions of dollars in the draft, and man, they didn't end up making it. I've played with baseball players, pitchers who were 6'8". I've played with pitchers that threw 100 miles an hour and just couldn't figure it out. Couldn't be good teammates, couldn't show up and be consistent when it really mattered. And they fizzled out. They got money in the draft. Yes, they're in the door because of their talent, their genetics, maybe their background, what kind of record they've built. Dude, but if you can't execute, if you can't do the little things consistently, If you can't be all in and you're not willing to sacrifice and do the things that others aren't willing to do, like give up an off season, we'll talk about it a little bit in here, man, then there are going to be others that are just going to take what you want and what you have away from you. Talent is a prerequisite now. We see everybody throwing 102, 95 plus, 90 plus, high school, college, dude. Everybody's throwing fuzz, man. Being talented and being good at baseball is it's a prerequisite. It's no longer a separator. Of course, you need to be talented in order to get to the next level. Of course, you need to be talented in order to make it to the big leagues. Of course, you need to be talented in order to separate yourselves. I get it. But when everybody else is talented, how are we going to separate? With our actions, by being consistent. Good doesn't just stand out at the next level anymore, fellas. Being different does. And when I was going up through my rise to the big leagues, I noticed that I tried to fit in more and more as I got up there. And I tried to blend in more and more as I got up there. And dude, that it kind of took me away from what made me different. I'm a goofball, dude. I like to get in your face. I'm loud. I understand that. Like, dude, you see the persona and the personality here on the 9-hole. That's what I'm really like. But the closer that I got up to the big leagues, man, the more quiet I became. The more I tried to just like keep my head down and like not be seen, because I didn't want to make a mistake and get sent down. Like, dude, that's being different is what makes us valuable. Being different is what makes us stand out and separate. And showing up day after day and putting forth those different traits is how we stand out over time, exponentially, man. Being good is not how you stand out anymore at the next level. It's not how you stand out now, man. Being different and doing different things and going about your business in a different way is now how you stand out. Talent gets you in the door, man, but that's it. It's got to come down to what you want and how much you're willing to put into it. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody, okay? There are some examples of players that do this, man. Water. We see Shohei Ohtani. We see, Aaron Judge. I keep bringing these guys up because they're studs, man. Paul Skeens. These guys are studs. But there are some MLB examples I played with that stood out based off of being different, man. 98% of Major League Baseball is not Shohei Ohtani, is not Aaron Judge, is not Paul Skeens, dude. They aren't the freaks of the freaks. 6'8", throwing 102. I want to talk about three guys that I played with, man, that were different and they stood out and built solid Major League Baseball careers based off of being different and owning that difference as their superpower, doubling down on that shit. And they were consistent in the way that they went about their business and their preparation in the offseason, in season, day after day, whether they went 4 for 4 or, they couldn't get out of the first inning. You can stand out by being different. And what makes you different on the baseball field can be your superpower. If everybody is talented at the next level where you want to go, we need to own our craft. We need to double down on the stuff that makes us different. You don't need to be flashy, gentlemen. You just need to be valuable. And because you're different, you have a tool that's different, maybe a skill set, a way that you go about your business. Maybe your leadership skills are different, whatever it is. That makes you valuable if you're able to be consistent with it and you can use that value to benefit a baseball team. Sergio Romo. Dude didn't throw hard. Dude was a little goofy. But he dominated. He knew how to throw. He knew what kind of pitch sequence he needed to do. We knew how to play defense around him in 2019 with the Twins. He had deception. He had the mindset, dude, and he went out there. And when he went out on the mound, dude, even though he was like, I don't even remember how tall he was, but he's a little guy, right? He went out there like it was 6'8", like he was Paul Skeens, throwing his best stuff, his Sergio Romo best stuff. And he trusted what made him unique. And look what happened. Look what kind of career that guy had. That guy played until he didn't feel like it anymore, man. That's what it's about. You can stand out by being different if you double down on that stuff. Luis Ariz, we see this guy right now with the Padres. I played with him in 2019 with the Twins. He's a little bit different. He doesn't hit the ball out of the ballpark. He doubles down on his bat-to-ball skills, his contact ability. What he lacks in power numbers, he makes up for on base with average, right? He might not even walk a lot, dude, but his bat-to-ball skills are superior. And in a world of power hitters, he's a throwback contact guy who stayed at the top by being elite at something that most ignore. How many of us can do that, dude? There's something that we do that's a little bit different, that makes us different, that makes us stand out, that we might not be 100% confident in because that is the thing that makes us different. Sergio Romo, Luis Ariz, these guys stood out by being elite at something that is different, something most people don't acknowledge or ignore, and they learned how to win baseball games and influence it in a positive way because of that. It's wild, dude. Emilio Pagan, bullpen piece for the Reds. He signed I believe it's a 2-year, it's either 16 or $18 million banger. Friend of the show. He's my minor league roommate. That dude was a D2 senior sign. Guy played third base in college. He stayed in the big leagues for years because he outworked, he adapted, and he found ways to be dependable. He found ways that he could go out there in the 8th inning, 9th inning, 4th inning, 5th. It doesn't even matter the situation, when it matters, when it doesn't matter, and he found ways to shove. He can be dependable, dude. He's a little bit different. He was willing to stay out in the off seasons. They're in minor leagues. He gave up his off seasons to chase the dream in the off season. Dude, that guy was all in. You don't need to be flashy. You just need to be valuable. You need to be willing to do what others aren't willing to do, sacrifice, and then double down on the stuff that makes you different, the stuff that makes you unique. Be consistent with that stuff, man. There are dudes in the big leagues right now. The majority of Major League Baseball players are doing that. That's why they're in the big leagues. The majority of them are not Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani and Paul Skeens, dude. It's not, man. The best ability through your grind from here on out, regardless of if you're travel ball, whether you're in college, whether you're on the varsity team, whether you're a professional baseball player. We got a couple pros. We got a couple pros in here that watch. Appreciate you boys being here. Fires me up. The best ability throughout the majority of your career from here on out is going to be availability. Your ability to be available. There's no other cool way to say that, dude. That is going to enable you to stand out, bro. If somebody can call on you in any situation and know what they're going to get consistently, you're going to get opportunity. That's how you stand out, okay? So, just spilled water on myself. Perfect, dude. So, we got a couple tactical truths that we could implement that you guys could use to just turn everything around for you right now, okay? So, there are 5 ways to actually stand out when everybody under the sun is talented. Whether you want to go play Division I baseball, those guys have Division I talent. You want to get drafted and play minor league baseball, those guys have professional talent. You want to play in the show, we understand what kind of talent they have, okay? We understand that stuff. But there are ways to stand out when everybody else under the sun is talented. Number 1, we need to play with urgency. Some guys act like they have 10 more years than they really do to figure it out. They act like they're going to stay around the game forever. They don't. Time's running out, bro. Time is running out. If you want to actually stand out when everybody else where you want to go is talented, you need to play with urgency. You need to get after it with urgency. You need to do shit on purpose, with purpose. You can't just be going through the motions anymore, man. You need to be attacking practice at a championship level, and hopefully that makes you play at a championship level when you are competing. But you need to play with urgency. You need to take action now. And if you know you need to get after it today or tomorrow early, you need to do it. You need to stop putting that stuff off, I should say. You need to stop putting that stuff off, man. Everybody thinks that they have way more time in the game of baseball than they really do. Fellas, I got something for you, and this is kind of like crazy, right? But we all share the same thing. There's something that we share in common, and at some point, it's going to be we're going to take off our jersey for the last time. Every single one of us, our careers are going to end, and we are going to take the jerseys off for the last time. That is coming. And for some of you guys, it's going to be coming quicker than most. For me, I had an idea of when it was going to happen. I earned the right to be able to have an idea. And I stepped away from the game. I knew when it was time. You need to play with urgency. You need to play with urgency now because you don't have 10 more years to figure it out. The majority of baseball players think there's always tomorrow, think there's always next season or next year. And guess what, dude? There's not. There is no next year. There is no next year. Start playing with urgency. Number two, you actually want to stand out from other people when everybody else is talented. You need to sacrifice. You need to go all in. You need to burn the ships, man. You need to go all in. You're going to need to miss parties. You're going to need to stay late after practice. You're going to need to watch video. You're going to need to do the redundant shit or the boring stuff that is repetitive and that nobody else likes to do. You're going to need to grind on travel days. Like that, just like talent, right? It's the prerequisite. You're going to need to sacrifice, and if we really want to stand out from everybody else when talent is the prerequisite, we can just sacrifice more than everybody else, right? If I'm willing to do more things than everybody else, shouldn't I expect to get more than everybody else? That stuff that I was just talking to you guys about with Emilio Pagan, dude, with staying in the off season. I did that with him. He was my roommate. We stayed in the off season and we didn't go home to see our families and have fun and stuff. And dude, we sacrificed parties, we sacrificed trips and vacations, and we sacrificed comfort, and we got after it. And dude, I don't know if he was in the big leagues the next year, but he was in the big leagues the year following. We went all in and we sacrificed. And dude, that's the stuff that helped us stand out before we were both in the big leagues, man. We needed to do that in order to be better than everybody else. Number three, if you actually want to stand out from everybody when everyone is talented, you need to be consistent. You need to do it when it doesn't matter. You need to do it when it's going to get praised. You need to do it when nobody's going to see it. You need to do it when you feel like it. You need to do it when you're raking, and you damn sure need to do it when you're cold. Talent always fades if your habits suck. Always, man. Always. Talent is eventually going to fade, and if your habits suck, your actions suck, it's going to fade quicker. How you show up every single day, on the weekend, in the morning, at night, after practice, before games, is going to be your separator. That's how you're going to be able to achieve different results, being able to show up when everybody else doesn't feel like it. I use this example in the athlete development program, the players that I work with. I'll talk about it at the end. But we talk about the bricklayer example. Dude, in the old days, man, if I had a job, maybe I was a bricklayer, I was building houses, and if I grinded for 12 hours a day, I would be able to lay one brick. And if I was good at my job, maybe I had business. But there's somebody else better than me at laying bricks, and if they grind for 12 hours, they're able to lay two bricks because they're better than me, right? They have more talent than me at laying bricks. However, they only lay bricks per week 3 times. They show up every other day. They only get after it when they feel like it every other day. Okay? So if they lay 3 sessions a week of bricks, they're able to lay 2 bricks per session. 3 times 2 is 6. That guy that is more talented than me can lay 6 bricks a week and only show up 3 times a week. I got to show up 7 days a week and lay 1 brick a day. If that's all I can do, I got to lay 1 brick a day and be consistent in order to beat that guy with more talent than me. If that guy is more talented than me and he can lay 2 bricks in 1 day and I can only lay 1 brick in 1 day, but I show up 7 days and lay 7 bricks a week and he only lays 6, I'm going to beat that nerd. I'm going to beat him. Doesn't matter how much talent he's got. Talent fades if your habits suck. That dude only shows up and lays bricks when he feels like it. I'm going to beat him. I don't care what round he gets drafted in, dude. I don't care how much he signed for. That's my spot. How you show up every single day is going to be your separator, and that is what it is. Number 4, if you want to stand out and when everybody else is talented, you want to get a spot, you need to have mindset control. You need to take control of your mind before it takes control of you. The ones who make it handle failure better than everybody else, and there isn't much more to that. If you're a 300 hitter, you're going to fail 7 times out of 10. That's a lot of failure. That's a lot of failure. How are you going to be able to handle that? Are you going to be mentally capable and you're going to be mentally clear to get those 3 knocks and those 3 ABs? Or are you going to let those other 7 affect your 3 knocks, dude? You need to have mindset control. You need to be fully prepared and in the moment over and over and over again over the course of a long baseball season in order to be better than everybody else. The ones who make it are better at failing than everybody else. They handle it better, they overcome it better, they come back stronger, quicker, and better than everybody else. Number 5, if you actually want to stand out when everybody else under the sun or everybody else where you want to go is talented, you need to obsess over value. The player who can do more wins. The player who can win in more ways or help his coach or his team win in more ways wins. I'm talking about bunting. I'm talking about base running. I'm talking about being versatile, handling multiple positions. Obsess over value. Why wouldn't you? If you don't have the most talent in the world, there are bricklayers or baseball players more talented than you, then obsess over value. What can you do better than them in certain situations or in certain instances that would give you the leg up? Double down on that, man. For me, it was my base running ability and my bunting. My defense came later. The versatility in the outfield, being able to handle multiple spots, that came later. Got me to the big leagues. Obsess over value. Even if you aren't a leadoff hitter, even if you aren't starting on varsity, even if you aren't hitting 400, you can still make it to the big leagues. You can still separate and you can still stand out when everybody else is better than you, talented, bigger, better, throws harder. Dude, I get it. The player that can do more wins. If you're somebody who wants weekly insights like this stuff that I'm talking about, I send out a free newsletter every single Saturday with tactical baseball info and mindset stuff. Most players, most coaches, most teams, they're not even teaching. If you think this stuff that we're talking about right now is beneficial to you, which, I mean, should be, it's called the 9-Hole Newsletter. The link is in the description. Hopefully you are here because you want to get better at baseball, specifically around baseball development, the mindset, the mental game. Check out the 9-Hole Newsletter. It is free. It goes out every single Saturday to hundreds of baseball players, coaches, parents, including D1 coaches, D1 parents, D1 players. Check it out. Link in description. Coming to a close here. Your separation comes from sacrifice. We've talked about what it's going to take. Okay, you're going to need to obsess over value. You're going to need to get in control of your mind. You're going to need to show up every single day, be consistent. You're going to need to sacrifice. You're going to need to play with urgency. But I think your separation moving forward is going to come the most from sacrifice. The major difference between the guys who stay and the guys who vanish at the next level is going to be sacrifice. It's going to be, are you willing to just do more than everybody else? Are you willing to show up and put forth intentional work and effort more than everybody else? Are you going to sacrifice enough to be consistent? Are you going to sacrifice enough to play with urgency? Are you going to miss parties, stay out late, watch video, and grind? The player that's going to be willing to do more is going to achieve more. You cannot practice like a 6 or go about your business like a 6 and expect level 10 results. Being good isn't just enough anymore, boys. We see the transfer portal. It's crazy. We got 27-year-old grown men on these college rosters that grow, they got full families, Fu Manchus, full beards, right? It's like almost we're freshmen coming in here and it's like we're boys playing against grown men. The spots are getting more and more just cutthroat in order to get, boys. How are you going to be able to stand out right now playing against grown men? Players are getting bigger. Players are getting better. Players are getting stronger, older. How are you going to stand out? Being good isn't just good enough anymore. You got to do the little things right, man. In your career right now, how are you standing out? If you can't answer that in less than 10 seconds, if you don't have that top of mind, boop, ready to go, you've got work to do because you don't fully know. You're not fully bought in. You need to buy in. If you're serious about standing out, if you're serious about buying in, check out our athlete development program. This is where I work directly with players and teams like you to help you sharpen your mind, improve your game, and take your performance to the next level. The link's in description. Check it out. Let's get after it. Appreciate everybody for being here. Most importantly, Keep grinding.